What's up, y'all?
Hi.
Welcome to another offseason edition of the Green Legion radio show on Fox Sports The Gambler in Philadelphia. Everybody, you're listening on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports The Gambler. Please make sure you rate, review, subscribe, and, of course, download the show on the iHeartRadio mobile app, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Green Legion Radio is brought to you by Bud Light, Bud Light Seltzer, Michelob Ultra, the entire Bud Light family of fine alcoholic beverages. Stateside Vodka and Bourbon up here in Philadelphia. The Dave Bavuso State Farm Agency in South Jersey, but he can write you no matter where you are. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware. Greater Philadelphia Health Action, and, of course, MCS Residential and Custom Cabinetry. I am your host today until Quimby shows up. This is Diaz, Philly Mike. Actually, we might have Quimby step in. There was an announcement of an Eagles signing before we started the show here today. We're recording Thursday night, March 24th. We are planning on Villanova basketball later on this evening. We do not know the outcome of their Sweet 16 game.
Well, actually, we are, because we're recording on Thursday before the Sweet 16 game. But we're hoping for an Elite 8 matchup for Villanova on Saturday evening. So you're technically right, and also technically you might still be right.
It's awesome talking from the future. We don't know the future, but we know the future.
We need a DeLorean.
My guest, or not even my guest, my co-host. I'm sorry, I shouldn't even start that way. But I am prepared for this show. I've been looking forward for the show for the last 4 years, however long I've known you, Chris Sack. I apologize that we met so late in the ongoing feud that is some of our local Philadelphia athletes. But unfortunately, we had one of the all-timers leave. We're going to talk about that later.
I'm glad you acknowledge him as an all-timer.
My Ice to Shorts Winter Sports co-host, host of the Bud Light Baseball Brunch with Greg Murphy, which will be kicking off in 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks.
Once this airs on Saturday, yes.
That's right. Chris Sack, Sackmaster Reggie. Ooh-ah. Good job, Sam.
There you go, Sam.
How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. You know, I know the weather outside isn't as awesome as it was last week. Gosh, can we get back to the 60s and 70s? I mean, it would be nice. But, man, what a wild last couple weeks of sports we've had to deal with, not just in Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, it's been insane. But I was saying to Sam before we jumped on air, the NFL is completely and absolutely drunk. Like the off seasons that we've been used to in Major League Baseball and NBA, like all the action that's been happening, like the big money contracts, the big player trades. We have never witnessed anything like this before in the NFL. I don't know if this is going to be the trend, if this is going to be the new norm. Doug Peterson right there. But yeah, I'll tell you what, man, exciting stuff. I can't wait to break it all down.
Yeah, 2 shows ago, I think, we were like, there's not a whole lot of NFL, but, we're an NFL-based show. We love the NFL. We love the Philadelphia Eagles.
Our first hour was. I mean, we had
an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, Rodgers re-signing. We had Russell Wilson going to the Broncos.
We're gonna try.
It's been crazy.
We will take care of the NFL. We're gonna try and squeeze it into the first hour of the show because there's a lot of other Topics to talk about: the Phillies are spending stupid money. The NBA, the Sixers, and the Eastern Conference is all kind of jumbled up. They have the chance to have the first seed or the sixth seed. You don't even know.
Jimmy Butler about to throw down with Spo and Udonis Haslem.
Our good friend Louise down there in Miami, who is a true Miami fan. He's one of the 3 you see at the games that show up. For
True
the start
story.
of the game.
Yeah.
And we got a all-time legend, Claude Giroux, one of the greatest ever. This huge legacy of Flyers hockey is coming to an end. Oh, so much fun, so many great memories. We're gonna go down memory lane.
A lot of great memories.
The last person on our panel today,
Hi.
Super Sam.
I think my nickname's coming back, and I'm really upset about it.
Super Sam Brady. It's already back. I thought it might be Super Sam Rogers. We'll hold that off.
I would take that.
Wait a minute, we haven't been on air since that happened.
No.
Right? Yeah, it happened right after our last show. Yes.
He just will never
I don't
die.
see that on the run sheet.
My life is now over.
She doesn't care if he dies or not. She just doesn't want him playing anymore.
Exactly.
I think that I wish
Just
that
retire.
I wish we could play little video clips here for the YouTube
No,
audience.
I just want him to go away.
Kate Winslet on the bed or the headboard, the plank, whatever, saying, "I'll never give up. I'll never give up, Tom. He'll never leave you. Don't worry."
Wait a minute. Do we have to hold on? Do we have to Photoshop her head?
Please stop. We already have one Photoshop that's too much
That's a great
already.
image. Did you see the one with Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers is laying there. They photoshopped his face on Rose's head, and it has all the money, like with him on the door. And it, I'll never let go. And it's Devontae Adams' head is on Jack. We could do that with you and Tom. We could put Tom on Jack's head.
We should also do the Wedding Crashers, where what's her name? I forget her name in the movie. The little redhead, where she goes, "I'll never leave you." There's Super Sam.
So I guess we'll put Tom's head on her body.
I'm so excited.
And then we'll put her head on Vince Vaughn's.
Producer / salesman / the gobbler. He is not here today. He is spurning us for the big boss, Mr.
Greener
Sean
pastures.
Bray. So, Sam, we're going to expect a little participation today, speaking to the mic. You know the drill here. But we're excited to be here. There is a lot to talk about.
I'm already in trouble.
Before we hit the NFL, and the NFL is crazy. Just a couple of business notes right here. Let's talk about voted the top 5 best beer festivals in the world by USA Today. It's the Philadelphia All-Star Craft Beer, Wine, and Cocktail Music Festival coming to Citizens Bank Park.
Yeah, that thing's fun.
Home of the Philadelphia Phillies for its 4th year. Saturday, May 14th, 2022, the region's largest and most popular sampling and music festival. Do not miss this one-of-a-kind event featuring 200-plus different options, multiple performers. It will sell out. We will have the links up by the time you're hearing this. I've done it before. It's great. Just a little bit here. You can experience the ballpark like never before by being able to walk the bases and the warning track like the pros, get a professional photo in the Phillies dugouts. Plus, all guests will also enjoy multiple live bands, unlimited samples of 200-plus amazing craft beer, wine, and cocktail options from the Philadelphia area, a keepsake sampling glass, batting cage simulator experience, tons of games, all those, giant Jenga.
They had the World Series
cornhole.
trophies out the last time that we were there, and when we did it a couple years ago.
I don't see that, but they should. It is free parking, free admission to the official after party. Local all-star vendors. I hope we see my good friend Paul Carpenter Art down there. He makes those awesome, drawing. He just did a big thing over at Temple. Veteran shirt him. I don't know who else was going to be there. I'm probably speaking ahead of time here.
If you would have actually said what he actually does, we might actually know who
Paul
the hell you were
Carpenter
talking
Art?
about.
Oh, you check out at Paul Carpenter Art, Instagram, Twitter. You've seen his pieces before.
Okay.
I have a couple.
All right.
New this year at the Philadelphia All-Star Craft Beer, Wine, and Cocktail Music Festival. Free pretzel necklace making station.
Sign me up.
I think they had that.
It says new this year.
I'm pretty sure they had that a couple years ago. People were getting wasted off of that stuff, and they needed something to eat, and they had those pretzel necklaces. Maybe people were actually bringing them them in.
You bring them.
Yeah, I think that was the case. Okay, I remember seeing them.
Sounds delicious.
There are 2 sessions. The day session, 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. The night session is 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Tickets are now available. We'll have the link out at all of our socials. It's a great day. If you love beer, May 14th, it's a perfect day. See the ballpark like never before. Also, all our early birds for all of our 2022 trips, Arizona, Chicago, Houston, Indianapolis, Detroit, Dallas, and D.C. are now available. What you do, you place your $150 deposit, fully refundable, fully transferable if the dates don't work out for you. What it does is when we do know the schedule, it will release you will get your preference of flights, hotels, seat locations for the game, whatever the options are available, you're first in line. What always happens every single year that I've been involved with the Green Legion from the business side is
far too long.
The day that we're saying get your early birds in now. Well, I think I might do Chicago, I might do Arizona. I'm not sure which one, but I want to wait till the days. If you know you want to go to one, put your deposit down because whenever this is, whether it's April 26th or May 10th or whenever the schedule comes out, we get all these people, I want to sign up. I need to sign up for Chicago. Well, you could sign up for Chicago right now. You could sign up for Houston right now and it reserves your spot in line because when we do know the schedule, Connie, the very talented and beautiful Connie Pfeiffer, she will reach out to everyone.
It is her month on the calendar, too.
It is the month of March. That's Connie's. I don't know when Connie's birthday is, though. I haven't seen
Should we cut this out so that way she knows that you don't know when her birthday is?
I rely on Facebook for all this stuff. Of course, in 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, April 8th, Friday, April 8th, 4-hour unlimited. It's our annual Phillies opening day tailgate.
So beautiful.
We do not have any game tickets left, but we have plenty of tailgate spots. And also a special presentation, the 2022 inaugural episode of Bud Light Baseball Brunch with Greg Murphy and some other guy. I'm sorry, he's right here.
Actually, well, think of it like this. That other guy is going to be the one doing the 2-hour show. We're hoping to land Murph. Murph's got a lot of responsibilities on opening day, so we're hoping to be able to fit him into a time frame that works for him. Whether that's 10 to 11, 11 to 12, we're going to try our best to make sure that Murph and I are doing the first hour together. It wouldn't feel right without doing it with Murph to start off the season, even if he has to do it remotely from inside the ballpark where his responsibilities will start. And then the second hour of the show, don't worry, everybody, Quimby is not going to be there. All right, he's not going to be at the tailgate this year. He's going to be down in the Cayman Islands. Woe is me for him. So the second hour should be myself alongside our program director at 102.5 Fox Sports The Gambler, Sean Brace. I'm sure Sean's a big fan of Bud Light Baseball Brunch, loves the show. I'm sure even if Murph and I do the first hour, we're going to have plenty to talk about. And not even just the Phillies. If anybody didn't listen to Bud Light Baseball Brunch last season, we're not just an exclusive Phillies show. We talk everything and anything Major League Baseball-wise. We have built-in segments to where we acknowledge the great things that have happened in Major League Baseball. We have pick segments. I know, being that we are on The Gambler, Sean's going to want to do a lot of probably props going into the season.
I can't bet. Baseball's tough to bet. I mean, I'll put like a $5 prop bet or same game parlay. Just have fun. I don't know.
What you need is a starting pitcher, a great starting pitcher, and you need that offense to be able to put up runs. That's how I normally bet, but I mean it's the higher level. I mean you're looking at -200, -220, stuff like that, swinging into a parlay. Baseball is tough to bet. I mean I like the same game parlays with basketball.
Yeah,
I like the same game parlays with football. But yeah, baseball. You got to catch teams in a hot streak. You get a team like the Dodgers are playing a crappy baseball team like the Pirates. It's a 3-game series in Pittsburgh. They lose on a Friday night. Play the odds. Do you honestly think that the Dodgers are going to lose 2 out of 3 or get swept to the Pirates? No. So you play them on Saturday, you play them on Sunday, and that's where you can make up your money. But that's how you got to play baseball. You just got to play the series and how it rolls. But it's going to be a great time, a great show. I can't wait to be down there. My wife is going to be there. My best friend Chad, who's not a member of Diaz Nation. Sean Henderson will be there. You guys are going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And again, no Quimby, so you don't have to worry about anybody getting all of you. Slash will be down there with us along with Sean Brace, so it's going to be a good time. We're still looking for sponsors too. We have a couple sponsors already signed up for the show. Quimby says we're looking for about another 2 to 3. So if you guys need any information, please reach out to any of our social medias for Green Legion. You can get a hold of Diaz, and Diaz will get you a hold of Quimby, or you can email Quimby directly at quimby@greenlegion.com and get any advice. Trying to take care of a lot of local small businesses, and it's a lot that comes along with it, Diaz. You get a live read on the show, you get a 30-second commercial that is played across all iHeartRadio platforms. We We talk about you, on our Green Legion radio shows, Ice to Shorts, Right on Cue. You're mentioned, and then once we get into football season, it's like a free advertisement at that point. We talk about you and your business on the Green Legion Radio Players Show and the pregame show, which are staple shows here for Green Legion Radio. So make sure you guys, for $4,500, that's a bargain. So reach out to Quimby at greenlegion.com.
Zach is fired up for Bud Light Baseball Brunch. I am not as fired up for Mr. Big Time coming back. He's kind of been chilled out the last few months.
I'm with him every week, so it's very.
Yeah.
You have he gets a big head. You have to stand over to
I know.
the side.
I know.
Get real small.
Wow.
My good friend.
Gosh, I thought you were on my side.
My good friend from Drexel University, Rob Roy, checking in the show. He's saying Diaz is getting schooled. He's here to listen to our Giroux argument, which we'll do at the top of the second hour. But for right now, let's talk about the craziness of the NFL.
Please.
The first item on the list, we're talking Deshaun Watson. And while we were talking here on Deshaun Watson, this tweet just came through that breaking a second grand jury in Texas has decided no charges against new Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson under investigation for sexual misconduct claims. Does that change your opinion of Deshaun Watson, Zach?
No.
Nothing changes my opinion of Deshaun Watson. He's a creep. And I'm so happy that the Eagles didn't go out and get him. My opinion has never changed about Ben Roethlisberger, who is still a creep. My opinion about Ray Lewis, who is either a part of a double murder or he was the one that did the double murder. My opinion has never changed. I don't care innocent until proven guilty. Listen, where there's smoke, there's fire. And when there's 22, 24 women that come out and have allegations against you, listen, there might be some that are out there trying to make money off of the situation, but you can't tell me that they're all making stories up. And that right there, he couldn't go to a better team because I care less about the Cleveland Browns. I want them to suck forever now.
Any professional should not have themselves in that situation in any way, shape, or form. If you're getting paid to play a sport, you should not be in that position ever.
Yeah, because Sam will do it for free.
I mean,
we could cut that out. I mean, what's
a creepy fetish to have, though. These are all masseuses. So what? Like a lot of people, I've heard this a lot over the last couple weeks, Diaz, especially since this has been put on the wayside now because the grand jury doesn't want to say anything about it, or they don't want to press any charges. But when you are getting massages, okay, you have your set person. Somebody maybe you take a few different people to try and figure out who has the best hands, who handles you the best, right?
Best pressure. I mean,
right.
It's for your job. It's not supposed to be some sensual
40 different women. I mean, you're trying these people out. That right there is just way over bounds.
He's a predator.
Exactly.
Or alleged predator, we will say.
Yeah, alleged predator, but
I'm with you.
Smoke, fire.
What's even crazier about this, I mean, 3 first-round picks, a fourth, a third, a fourth, and he gets fully guaranteed 5 years, $230 million.
Insane.
Fully guaranteed. And you said this earlier, I'm happy that the Eagles, whether the Eagles were rebuffed or whether, I'm happy they're out of it because I thought about this after this was announced. I'd have a hard time rooting for the Eagles if he was our quarterback. I mean,
we're doing shows.
I love the Birds. I love the NFL. It's so much fun. It's so much fun to watch. The games are exciting, but I can't root. I mean, the Mike Vick one, that was
served his time.
I'm gonna give him a chance. This one is this guy's a creep, and to represent the city, to represent your team. I mean, just think, we're talking about the abuse our good friend Louise is taking down there in Miami with his speedy receivers that his quarterback can't hit, and Jimmy Butler butlering his way out of town for the Miami Heat. That it stinks when you're the butt of the joke, but with something like this, it's how do you even root for that guy? How do you even root for him?
And another part that think about it like this, Diaz. Okay, this guy right here, he said he didn't want to go to Cleveland, right? It was between Atlanta and New Orleans. Those were the last two, and then all of a sudden he changed his mind to go to Cleveland. I wonder why.
$230 million guaranteed.
$230 million guaranteed, and this is another thing that ticks me off about the deal. if he gets suspended for any portion of the 2022 season, which is going to happen, whether it's a half a season, a full season, it's 10 games, whatever, he's going to be suspended. His base salary for that suspension to run off of, where they're going to take money away from him, is $1 million.
Yeah.
That makes me sick because, and the Browns knew exactly
It's like
what they were doing with that deal.
$60,000 a game.
Yeah, as compared to if they would have structured that deal the way it's supposed to be structured, they did him a solid by making that base salary $1 million and not taking anything away from him.
I'm happy that we don't have him. Cleveland is now everyone's most hated team. Baker Mayfield is without a job. That's kind of funny. We're going to continue with the NFL on the other side of the break right here. We're going to talk Davante Adams trade, Tyreek Hill trade. What the hell is going on in the NFL? But before we break,
Greater Philadelphia Health Action, providing medical, dental, behavioral health, pharmacy, and child development services for over 50 years. Full family care for the entire family. Prenatal, pediatrics, adults, specialty services, and more. COVID-19 vaccine and testing available. 11 locations throughout Philadelphia. Over 85,000 patients. Telehealth and on-site appointments available. Schedule an appointment today. 1-888-296-GPHA. Website for more information on services and a complete listing of locations, www.gphainc.org.
we'll be right back right after this. How's it sound out there, guys? You two people.
Sam.
Just me, they can
Yeah,
hear.
yeah, it's Sam with her mic. I don't know if we need to adjust her volume.
Sam.
I know. It's always my fault.
Come on, Sam.
Say it with your chest.
All right. We're going to take a break at 6 o'clock or at the end of the third segment before the second segment.
Yeah,
All right.
that's fine.
All right. Let's go back in on NFL. We'll do.
When do you want me to text him?
Text him after we're with Tyreek Hill.
The third segment, or
Look at the thing.
where are you
NFL.
at? No, I'm on NFL. I'm just trying to read. Okay. So
All right.
It's going to be in 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5-10
So
minutes.
that's what I'm going to text him. 5
Yeah.
minutes.
5 minutes. And we'll just keep going on until he comes on and then we'll hit birds.
Right.
We are back on Fox Sports The Gambler.
You have to tell me when you're going in. I write it down.
Okay.
So start over.
Start it over.
Yeah, try and line it up, Diaz, with like a 30. Like, you see where it says live up here? So try and line it up with, that way it makes it easier for her to
Okay.
write it down.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are back on Green Legion Radio on Fox Sports The Gambler here in Philadelphia. We are talking the crazy NFL offseason. It turned out this year the NFL offseason, if this is how it's going to be going forward, this is like the NBA offseason. It's like a soap opera. We're going to get to Tyreek Hill. I want to talk about Davante Adams first, but these deals, these trades and everything are happening, 10 o'clock, a tweet goes out, and the guy's traded in 3 hours. I don't even know anything about it. Let's talk Davante Adams. Davante Adams, who was traded after Aaron Rodgers signed his deal. Davante Adams was traded to Las Vegas for a first and a second, which is the 22nd pick and the 53rd pick in this year's draft. Also signed an extension worth $67.5 million guaranteed. What was your first reaction when you saw that come through, Sam?
Holy crap. I mean, we were at the Flyers game. And
holy crap, you were at a Flyers game.
Absolutely, yes. It was Claude Giroux' 1,000th game. So
we'll get there.
Yeah, had to be there for that. But yeah, it was once we saw it come through, that was our first thought. Like, how soon until Rodgers wants to get traded too? He signs the largest contract in the history of the NFL for a wide receiver at the time. Now Tyreek Hill has surpassed that. And it's funny because, like, immediately my attention goes to, and the same thing happened with Tyreek Hill when he was traded. Man, they really dropped far now on the fantasy football draft board, because you go from Aaron Rodgers and Pat Mahomes throwing to you, and now I got to focus on you having the ball thrown to you by Derek Carr and Tua. It's now you're falling a little bit now. I got other wide receivers that are going to step up, but he grew up a Raiders fan. He wanted to he played in college for 2 years at Fresno State with Derek Carr. So he has a familiarity there. Josh McDaniels, I'll tell you what, man, the AFC West is just going to be a bloodbath. I know we were texting about it last week when we saw that Adams got traded. Man, every primetime game, every week, it's got to be a Thursday, a Sunday, or a Monday night. One has to be an AFC West matchup. It's crazy what's going on.
I think this actually could help Devontae. I mean, I understand Derek Carr is not Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to argue with that.
I know.
But Aaron Rodgers is a good enough quarterback to make subpar receivers good, so he could kind of toss it around a little bit. Where I think Derek Carr, I mean, they got Waller on the team.
Hunter
Renfrow.
Josh Jacobs at running back.
That's right. They got some weapons there, and I think Devontae Adams is going to have a great year there, especially when you sign deals like this. They're going to give you the ball. So the AFC West is, for everyone's fantasy football drafts, the first 2 or 3 rounds are going to be all AFC West players. I'm happy we don't play them again for another 3 years. We got that out of the way last year.
Yeah, the division by that point might actually suck. You know how the NFL turnover is, but I mean, and then talk about Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
here
Tyreek
too.
Hill. This happened just the other day here. Tyreek Hill traded to. I had a meeting, and at the start of the meeting, no news. At the end of the meeting, Tyreek Hill is going to be traded to Miami or the Jets. Whoa. We've got a surprise guest.
God.
Oh my God. Back from the dead. Oh, a good friend. Now I don't know what this name is really, Barnett.
Don't say good friend. Good friend.
That's true. We're gonna let you. Our good friend Quimby is dialing in all the way from overseas, so to speak.
Watching Star Wars in his humble abode.
Oh yeah. It's on.
It's of course it's always on. It should always be on. We're just talking here. We're at Tyreek Hill traded to
and
Miami.
Sam is flashing us on our YouTube channel.
Oh, you should have seen what she did the other day.
That's not true.
Okay, so me. Oh, I don't want to go where I want to go. Oh, Sam, you're a good sport. Tyreek Hill traded to Miami for a first, a second, a fourth this year, a fourth and a sixth, and signed the biggest deal ever for a wide receiver.
Yeah, he had his choice. They had deals on the table both between the Jets and the Dolphins. I think the Jets had, 2 second-round picks, and I think they were going to swap their 4th-round picks, or it was a 4th, and then they were going to get a 5th in return for the Jets. But obviously, I mean, where would you rather be, Miami or playing on that crappy turf in MetLife Stadium? I know Quimby wouldn't choose the Swamp, but then again, I'm sure he's going to chime in on the ownership group there in Miami. But, yeah, this deal, again, you're going to a worse quarterback. Like, great for you. You got your money, but you have to look at it, man. Like, you're on a Hall of Fame trajectory if you're Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill, thanks to who your quarterbacks have been. And now you're getting paid, but now that Hall of Fame trajectory might go down. Remember what happened with Randy Moss when he left the Vikings and he went to the Raiders? Like, a lot of times, man, it's what is it? One hand feeds the mouth, and it's like that right there. They completely, yeah, they're getting paid, but they might be screwing themselves in the end of where inevitably their careers are going to go.
This is the thing with the Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. They're great players. This is a whole lot to give up to them, both in cap space and all of these picks. I think some of these teams, wide receiver, we're seeing these rookie wide receivers come out. Quimby, you want to turn down your Star Wars over there?
I have nothing on. As a matter of fact, something's wrong with the sound on your end.
Okay, well, we'll correct that at the next break. You can pause all this, Sam. I think that there is going to be a reallocation of resources here, and we're seeing so many wide receivers. Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and these are just the first-round picks.
Talking about high-level draft picks.
Yeah, and guys that are getting this draft supposedly, you never know, but high with wide receiver prospects somewhere on day 2, second round, third round, end of the first round through the beginning of the 4th round. A lot of wide receivers there. And these guys, unless you get drafted for the Philadelphia Eagles, it doesn't take 3 years to incorporate yourself into an offense and the NFL, lifestyle and structure. These guys are performing right away. So, with that the case, Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams are unique talents. They're great. It's nothing about them, but you're giving away half your draft. You're going to have other positions of weakness. You're giving away, a tenth of your cap to these guys. I don't want to speak. I don't want to speak out of turn for our good friend Dave Spadaro, but wide receivers don't change teams overnight.
It's kind of like wide receivers are they're elevating themselves now up the trajectory on what is important on NFL rosters. Your quarterback, edge rush, left tackle, and now it's wide receiver, right? I mean, it used to be a different kind of layout, making sure that you had your running back or a linebacker, Quimby. But now the wide receiver is such a paramount position. It has extreme importance because they see what these wide receivers can do. Jamar Chase last year with the Bengals, Cooper Kupp with the Rams. Then you look, the teams that lost in the conference championship games last year. Deebo Samuel with the Niners, Devontae Adams before that. Like these teams that are winning and advancing in the playoffs now, they have high level quarterbacks, but they also have high level weapons and wide receivers that they can take advantage of in the offensive play calling. It definitely has changed. The NFL has changed big time now. Not just over the last 20 years, going from a running back-oriented offense to wide receivers and tight ends and weapons. But the last couple of years, you're seeing it now with the way teams draft and the way that they're allocating their cap dollars.
We have a special guest, like I said, our good friend.
Very special.
Very good friend, Quimby, is coming to us live from down south in the warm weather. Now, Quimby wanted to talk about the Birds and some of the Birds moves and signings that they have had. I'm sure it's not the Hassan Reddick signing, which Quimby is probably pretty happy with. Quimby, this is what we got. This is what the Birds have done so far. Hassan Reddick signed for 3 years, $30 million guaranteed. The Birds have also re-signed Jason Kelsey, Boston Scott, Fletcher Cox, Anthony Harris, Zach Pascal, Ward, all one-year deals. You have comments about any of those guys? Because I know you do.
I'd love to, but there's feedback. I can't do anything.
Ah.
You have to fix it on your end.
You sound good on our end.
Yeah, you sound fine.
The room can even hear it.
You sound
There's an echo.
You sound like you're far away. You don't sound like you do usually on.
I can barely hear you at all.
Well, that's a different problem.
I mean,
You should take a break.
All right, we'll take a break. Everything sounds fine.
I can hear the echo in my headset.
I understand that, but we don't hear you. It's recording fine.
Ask the room. How do you have it plugged in? Do you have the USB in your computer from the mixer?
Yeah.
What line do you have it on?
What do you mean, what line?
There should be audio options.
Oh, yeah. I have it on the USB codec.
Yeah, I have major echo.
Just you, though.
Well, it shouldn't happen. If I mute.
Yeah, everyone says Quimby has major echo. It might be because we're on this one thing and you are on yours.
Quimby sounds like he's coming in through the computer and not through his mic.
You don't sound like you're coming through a mic.
Yeah, you're not coming through the mic. We hear you on through your laptop. Remember that issue that we had when we did the Super Bowl show?
How about that? Nope.
Well, yeah, when we did the prop bet show.
Nope.
Yeah, nope.
This is from my webcam. And this is the only.
Oh, what was that one you just did before?
The webcam, but there was still echo. This is the webcam.
Mike Davis, do you hear echo on Sam, Sack, or Diaz?
Yeah, you can't hear Sam's mic at all. You got to turn her volume up.
I got hers all the way up now. Sam.
Then Sam, speak with a pair.
Testing 1 2 1 2 testing.
She's still loading. Where's your main at? Where's Slash?
He's doing a live show.
Okay.
Echo on Q's mic. Oh, Louise checking in. Our good friend Louise.
Probably just
if there's going to be an echo, I'll just bail out, guys.
All right. Hey, can you hear Sam okay? Barry, Mike, Louise.
Can anyone hear me?
You're coming in through my headset now.
Yeah, it sounds
it's just easier if you move the microphone to your head, Sam.
The microphone.
Instead of leaning up towards it, you pull it down.
Pull it towards you.
That's okay. That's what that adjustable thing is there for.
I know, but I'm trying to do 3 things at one time because Slash isn't here.
Oh, I love
Feisty.
We didn't have this when I was in Costa Rica.
Well, we weren't in the studio.
We were at home.
We were at home.
So everyone was on the same.
Everyone was, yeah.
This problem occurs when I'm in Sea Isle and you guys are in studio. I just don't talk.
No, we don't hear it. There's a distinct echo. There's a delay.
Well,
we're not hearing
it
from you at all.
I understand that you're like, we're not.
You're hearing it.
I
we're
can't
not.
fix anything that. There's no. I can't fix on the board with your. All
right, now I can't hear anything. All right, guys, focus on your show.
All right, man.
Gotta go.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Let's try to figure that out at some point in time in case.
Yeah, we could do it the next time. We'll just do it early and figure out what.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm looking at one other thing here. Yeah, I don't know. It shouldn't be a problem if you're coming off the mixer though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's only Q has echo. Everyone else.
Do you have the music portion turned up? The channel that usually covers?
No.
That wouldn't matter.
Yeah. All I touched was the main and the 3 mics. That's it.
Enjoy your show, guys.
All right. Peace.
Thanks, brother.
All right, hold on. I have to fix this time because.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to find out where. Oh, yeah, we need to find out where we left off because in that way we can.
I think you left off at.
We'll just start over with the birds.
I don't know where to find it though. Is my problem.
Where we were transitioning to.
Yeah, I mean that.
So when we shut it off, like you're gonna have to go back and find out where. Because you can't do it right now, right? Like we
just
can't.
say it's between minute. It's between.
I do have between minute 28. We stopped for the first problem, and then at minute 30 we stopped for the second problem.
We'll just stop at 28. We'll just take out when Quimby comes in. Just Quimby won't be in.
So at 28.
Yeah, we'll just have to.
And then now I have to add the time back on.
Well, I'm at 9:51.
Oh, you paused.
So we're like this should go to about 16 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll be okay. You got a live read too?
Yeah, I'll have one. Yeah.
Okay, so you're coming in before Quimby. You're coming.
Yeah, we're just
back.
gonna stay. Yeah, so you're gonna have to cut it like before we get into birds. Be like, all right, I'm gonna come in and we're gonna talk birds.
Okay.
We'll make it work, or you'll make it work, or Slash will make.
Well, Slash will make it work.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to give him as much information as I can.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're just gonna have to know the time frames, and then that way we can go like when we're done and we shut this down and it goes right into YouTube and it's got 2 hours on it.
No, it's from Stream. We take it out of StreamYard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying. You can go back and you can sit there and say, where did we?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Where were we trying to kick it over to Quimby?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. You can find on when.
Yeah. So like we were talking about Tyreek Hill. Now.
Yeah.
So I think now when we come back, let's talk about the birds. Or you want to talk about Matt Ryan real quick?
Yeah, we'll do birds.
Okay. So we're going to go to the bird.
Okay.
Now that we're off Tyreek Hill, let's talk about the birds.
So I think you only have like 7 minutes or 8 minutes left.
Right.
Okay.
Not even
Okay.
6-7 minutes.
Okay.
So I'll keep track of this right here.
Okay.
Right? And then I'll just say, hey, let's take whoever it is, Chargers, Cowboys next break.
Yeah,
we'll hit that. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about the birds. Off-season moves right here. We haven't talked since they've made their big signing in free agency. Local Camden product, Temple University's own Hassan Reddick, a 3-year, $30 million guarantee. A number of one-year signings. Jason Kelsey, Boston Scott, Fletcher Cox, Anthony Harris, Pascal, Ward, wide receivers, all one-year deals. Just as we were starting today's show on Thursday the 24th, we got news that Derek Barnett, everyone's favorite first favorite penalty gatherer, Derek Barnett, back for 2 years. I don't know the terms yet. It's a 2-year deal. Maybe there's the second year isn't guaranteed or something like that.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know. Sack, how do you feel about what the Birds have done so far in free agency?
I mean, I like the Reddick signing. I think we all knew that the Eagles needed to improve their pass rush. So I've got no issues with that one at all. Obviously, Jason Kelsey coming back, huge news to follow on that one. Boston Scott, our favorite, giant killer, giant slayer. And then I think we all knew that Pascal was going to be coming here, right?
It was inevitable.
But I'm going to be honest with you. I really thought that we were going to rid ourselves. I love Fletch. I appreciate everything Fletch has done over the last decade here. He's been an all-time Eagles great.
It's the Fletcher Cox era.
But I just listen. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's just I don't understand the premise of bringing him back. When they cut him, I had the excitement in me that, okay, cool, now we're going to get to see Milton Williams play more. They might draft one of these stud defensive tackles and bring them in here to play along Hargrave and Milton Williams. I know Milton Williams is a guy that they can move to the outside of the edge. They can keep him on the interior. But I was excited about that, But once you didn't get the statement from Jeffrey Lurie thanking him for everything that he's done, for being here, and Howie Roseman, I was a little disappointed about that. And I thought we all thought that we were rid of Derek Barnett. And you mean to tell me, like, this guy had probably next to zero interest out on the open market. If you want to bring him back, 1-year deal, okay, make him earn it. You give him 2. Like, it makes no sense. Like, I thought we were moving on from some of these players. I thought, for me, the Eagles made the playoffs last year. It's awesome. I was happy about that. But man, all these draft picks, you can't draft the right players to fill in these positions and try and bring about new energy. It's time to start turning over a new leaf for the Eagles. Oh. And we'll talk about that coming up here. All right, we'll talk about that. But I'm telling you, I'm a little disappointed bringing back these guys because now, what's the urgency? I mean, now you have depth amongst your defensive line again, but are they going to draft the defensive end in the first round when you have Brandon Graham coming back, you have Fletcher Cox? Like, pretty much your starting 4 is already set, and now your backups are almost set. So it kind of takes away the fervor a little bit. Like, you were terrible last year. We were second to last in sacks last year, and you brought back the same guys.
Yeah,
outside of Reddick.
I hear you. I think I'm going to try and be a positive spin guy here,
which is not how we normally operate.
I know, but they are going to draft a defensive end. They're going to draft a defensive lineman. I'm not a scout guy.
I think no matter what they do with the 3 first-round picks, I think even if they only kept 1, I think we're on the same page.
Yeah.
They're going to work with the interior, and the one that needs the most improvement is the defensive line.
That's right. And with these other guys, I do want to turn it over, but I also kind of like the Eagles aren't close, and a lot of the talk on Twitter this week was of these wide receivers, and the Eagles aren't in there, and I don't think anyone really wanted Deshaun Watson, but that he didn't want us made it. Oh no. And the room or the little behind the scenes was that he had a loyalty to Jalen Hurts. They both work out in Houston together. Jalen Hurts is from Houston.
Oh, please!
Yeah.
If we were offering him $235 million guaranteed, I think that loyalty would have went right out the window.
But we don't want him anyway.
I know.
I think kind of where the Eagles are right here. They are a fringe playoff team. We're a running team. We love running the ball. We love running. We have a running quarterback. I put this out on Twitter the other day. We have a run-first team with a one-read, then run quarterback. Wide receivers don't want to play here. It's a passing league, and we're not a passing team. So the whole wide receiver thing, that's why I think they were trying to trade for Calvin Ridley before he announced a couple parlays, a couple 5-team parlays. 9-team parlay. So it's disappointing, but I think it's also like, let's just have a dose here of reality. The Eagles aren't really a premier. They're a good franchise overall, but going into 2022 here, they're not a contender. So let's strengthen different positions. If having some of these guys come back they're all 1-year deals, except for Derek Barnett. We'll have to see the terms of that. I don't know what they're thinking there. Maybe they cut him or it's non-guaranteed the second year. I don't know. There's still a whole lot here to talk about the NFL. What I like to do, let's talk a little about what some other teams, it's mainly in the AFC, have done to improve themselves in the offseason. Then we'll get the second hour. We'll get some good stuff. before we get to the break, Zach, you got some business for me.
Yeah, well, speaking of good, you need good service. And you deserve to get good service and great rates. At State Farm, we get it, and we're here to help. Because with every State Farm policy, you get good neighbor service, and you get surprisingly great rates. So what are you waiting for? Get going and talk to local State Farm agent Dave Bavuso about your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. When you want the real deal, call Dave Bavuso State Farm Agency, 856-740-5012. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
On the other side, we're going to talk the AFC, Miami, the Bills improving, the Bengals signing an offensive line, Jaguars crazy money, Chargers, and some fun news out of Dallas. Our good friends down at Dallas. We'll tell you that right back on the other side. Fox Sports The Gambler. Okay.
All right. Is the speaker, Quimby just texted me and asked me, are the speakers off? Turn the speakers off. Do you have the speaker turned up in the studio? I hear like a tiny bit. That's why I'm asking.
This? I mean, is it? I can't see it. Is it on?
I can't.
The green light is on.
I mean, what does that do?
I don't know, but turn it off.
It was off.
Oh, it was off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just because we're all plugged into this and someo's coming in from the outside.
It is. This is what happened when I was in Sea Isle and we did and I came on the show on Thursdays and I stayed in Sea Isle a couple times.
Yeah.
I just didn't talk. And if I did talk, I unmuted myself when I was talking and remuted myself. It was just the sound just wasn't good, and then I couldn't hear you guys at all unless you were on live.
Okay, let's come back in here because of that check there. We have 10 minutes and then we'll take a break for the second hour.
Yeah. You guys want to smoke a cigarette?
Yeah,
or something?
smoke, get some bourbon, and get after it here.
Chug some Gatorade.
I want to see Zach's face get like super red as his shirt right here. Triple letter in Philadelphia.
I'm not getting overly angry with you. I'm not doing it.
All right. Where are we here? We're going to come back at 46:30.
We're already at 46:30.
2, 1. Back on Green Legion Radio, Fox Sports The Gambler. This is Diaz. I'm with Sack and Super Sam Brady.
Brady!
Working the controls.
We didn't mention that yet.
Oh.
Yeah, Tom Brady unretired.
I think we just know as long as we're associated, Sam's our friend, Tom Brady will never die. He'll come back for another year or two. Next year he'll play for this upcoming year he'll play for Tampa. Then he'll go to San Francisco.
I am 100% convinced this is happening to me on purpose.
See, that's how you talk into the mic, Sam.
No, it's because I'm turned up now.
Yeah,
It's
she is
not even
turned up.
changed anything.
She's turned up.
Oh, she definitely is.
Well, you guys talked about Tom Brady, so obviously I'm turned up now.
I'll tell you what, about 6 weeks in the carpool lane has driven Tom back to playing. Because, dropping off and picking up the kids, it's kind of like, you ever see Daddy's Home?
No, I've not.
Yeah, right. God, Mark Wahlberg's character, he's like an absentee father. Will Ferrell marries his ex-wife, and they have 2 kids. And then
There's a second one too, right?
John Cena is the other dad. But Mark Wahlberg, like, he's trying to be dad now because he's trying to compete with Will Ferrell, and he's like dropping the kids off. And the one lady at their school is like a psycho. She's got the cones lined up, and she's like, "Stay within the cones, stay within the cones." He's like, "Ah!" And he runs over the cones. She's like, "My cones!" Like that was Tom Brady. Like trying to drop off the kids, being all good, can't do it. No, man, I gotta get back to the practice field.
Man, you say you don't have time, but you watch every single movie that was ever released of all time.
Bull crap.
Who has time to watch Daddy's Home?
I have a 50 movie flex. Like I stay within my realm. I stay in my comfort zone.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm not Quimby, all right, where I watch everything that's ever been made.
I'm probably worse than you are as far as what I've watched.
You're like a 30 movie realm.
No, I'm saying way more than that.
Yeah.
I probably watch one movie a night. Every night.
I watch Back to the Future over and over.
Yeah,
and over.
he watches the same movies
same
over and
stuff,
over
same
again.
stuff.
I mean, I do. If Star Wars is on, I watch that. Goodfellas, Godfather.
I've never seen either.
What?
What?
No, never seen either.
What
Can
are
you
do-
mute
oh my
his
God.
mic?
Oh,
Mute his mic.
I don't know how to do that.
Never seen Scarface.
Listen.
What?
No.
I mean, you have to see at least Goodfellas is like
I'm just
two
telling you.
hours long.
You think I see every movie? I'm telling you right now, No.
You every one of your stupid movie quotes, Daddy's Home. You haven't seen Goodfellas?
No.
What is wrong with you? Goodfellas is top 5 of all time. A true top 5 of all time. But we'll get to that at the second hour.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I have a thought experiment here for you. This is what I'm kind of thinking what we'll see in the NFL next year. I believe there are going to be, I don't know, let's just say three AFC teams that will be out of the playoffs that could win 3 divisions in the NFC.
Definitely ours.
I mean, when you look at some of this, the Bills, who are all, I mean, Josh Allen, we all love him. We used to hate him here at Green Legion Radio. I loved him.
I give full-blown credit to Slash. Because Slash got on that hill. He died on that hill. But my man planted the flag on that hill.
He won.
He won.
They signed Shaq Lawson and Von Miller. The Bengals signed a good friend from Dallas, Leo Collins, Alex Kappa, Ted Garris. They're protecting their AFC champion quarterback,
Franchise quarterback, absolutely.
franchise QB. The Jags are making some signings. We got our good friend Crusher Doug. The Jaguars are Philadelphia's favorite AFC team for next year. I want to see Trevor Lawrence succeed. Let's just hope that it was only what's his name. Urban Meyer. Another Urban Meyer story broke this week.
The stuff that's coming out on him.
What a jerk store. I mean, who is this guy?
Hey, the jerk store called, and they're out of you.
And now he's back in Ohio, like do the name and image and like NIL for he is just a slime ball.
You know what? Him and Jared from Subway. I saw those guys for who they were all along. I screamed it from the rooftops. And I'll tell you what, I feel validated.
Man, that would have been some scene Sack before we knew all this stuff. Standing on a rooftop yelling, Jared from Subway's a pedophile.
No, I said he was a fraud all along. I was like, that guy is the biggest fraud. I was like, to tell me to get 15 years of advertising off of Subway and you lost all this weight by walking to and from Subway and eating there 3 times a day, I call bullcrap. I wanted him to get fat again and prove me wrong. And I wanted to be documented. And I'll tell you what, it never happened. But now he's getting free footlongs all day long.
Wow. I don't know if we could keep that.
I think we can.
Okay. All right.
I didn't say where he was.
I think he can.
No, he can get free foot. Yeah.
We didn't even talk about this in the AFC West. The Chargers signed cornerback J.C. Jackson, re-signed Mike Williams to a deal that's. I think that might be a little bit too much for Mike Williams. Nice player, but
big play.
$65 million.
But he's the big play guy.
And then they trade for Khalil Mack. Him and Bosa. The AFC West, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. They're just going to beat up on each other. I mean, is every game? They all have good defenses too.
Chandler Jones and Max Crosby,
Yeah.
and then you have our now good friend Randy Gregory spurned the Dallas Cowboys and went to the Broncos. Him and Chubb. I mean, holy crap!
You're forgetting a big signing for Denver.
Well, I mean,
He was one show short of the Green Legion radio jacket.
Oh yeah, Alex
Our good
Singleton.
friend linebacker Alex Singleton. We will miss you, sir. We hope that you.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. On the
It
list.
wasn't. I just thought of it now, but that was kind of disappointing. I sent him a little message like, "Hey, man."
Did he get back to you?
No, he didn't.
He's big leaguing you.
No. I mean,
It's kind of like Quimby texting Jordan Mailata. I'm sure he texted him after seeing him on the Masked Singer.
That was so good.
It was so good.
So good.
So good. I'm watching that clip last night. I was like, I know that guy.
But this is my question about that. And we've heard him sing. He sang like when he was a rookie and everything. And we know that he does that. He plays, guitar and stuff like that. Great voice. But like, if you're on a national show, who are the celebrities on that show?
Well, who are the hosts?
Yeah, or like who are the people that are guests?
The host is Jenny McCarthy.
Yeah, does Jenny McCarthy know who?
Yo, Jenny McCarthy looked
Jordan
good.
Mailata.
Yo, she looked good.
No,
these people know who
no,
Jordan
but
Mailata are?
Ken
Young.
Yeah, he does. He's a huge NFL fan,
okay.
so he does know who that is. And I can't think.
There's
of
another man and there's another woman, but I couldn't get past the. I couldn't get
Well,
past
it's
the
Nicole-
outfit. I couldn't get past the outfit that Jenny McCarthy was wearing.
I know you were
I mean,
distracted.
there was no straps. I thought she was going to fall out. I mean,
Easy, buddy.
Hey,
Easy,
listen, my wife's not
buddy.
watching, so I'm just saying.
Take a breath.
Best part of the clip when he was taking the mask off, and she's like, "Oh my God, who is it?" I'm like, yes.
Here's something to think about here, Sack, because we went in on it last show with Commander Carson. Who would you rather have, Matt Ryan for a 3rd-round pick or Carson Wentz for 2 third-round picks?
I don't know. Matt Ryan hasn't been good in a couple of years. I mean, when was the last time we saw real good Matt Ryan? I mean,
He was an MVP in what, 2016?
2016. Yeah, listen, Matt Ryan's had a great career, and listen, he maybe getting out of Atlanta for the first time in 14 years will resurrect his career. But listen, it's not a matter of who I want. I mean, I think both are going to work out where they're going. Good opportunities to succeed and to win. It's just Matt Ryan is now going from the easier conference. Like if this Indianapolis Colts made that trade and they were in the NFC, I'd say they'd be like, a top 4 team.
That's true.
But now, I mean, look at how the other teams have beefed up. You might get there's a chance, and I'm not saying it's going to happen because they're going to beat up on each other. There's a chance that all 4 teams in the AFC West could make the playoffs.
That would be awesome.
Right?
That's what we're all rooting for.
I mean, but that's
and they all advance into the final 14.
That's a realistic shot. I mean, last year, 2 of them, they would have tied. You would have had 3 teams out of 4, and the other team went 7 and 9, and then they got Russell Wilson as their quarterback. Yeah. So it is a realistic possibility that it could happen.
Before we head to break, fun news out of Dallas. I don't know if you saw this today. I thought it was hilarious. Albert Breer of the NFL tweets out that the Dallas Cowboys are hiring Brian Schottenheimer for a unique position to assist with the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, and he's also going to help with league trends and game planning. That sounds to me a whole lot like a head coach. But they have a head coach like Mike McCarthy, and, our good friend Giroux doesn't want to admit defeat that this guy is a bumbling fool down there in Dallas. So there's 2 head coaches now. What exactly does Mike McCarthy do if Brian Schottenheimer will be assisting the offensive and defensive coordinators and game plan and follow league trends?
Well, let's think of it like this. Mike McCarthy gets fired after this year, right? I mean, another faux pas, another flop by the Dallas Cowboys. He gets fired. 2 of your guys almost went elsewhere for head coaching positions. So he's got options now. He's got Schottenheimer, who he just brought in. He's got Kellen Moore and, the guy that was with Atlanta.
Yeah,
Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn. I almost said Gus Bradley, and I'm like, yeah, that's not him. But they're just trying to build up their coaching staff, just like MCS Residential and MCS Custom Cabinetry.
Boom.
For all your residential contracting needs, this is who you want to talk to. I know I do. I just signed off on another quote for them to do my kitchen, and I will be the first customer to get the Flow Dough.
Whoa.
Can't wait for you guys to check that out. It's going to be awesome in my kitchen, in my house.
You're getting the Flow Dough?
I'm getting the Flow Dough. I'm the first person to actually get the Flow Dough installed in their
Wow.
house.
Wow.
Because the prototype is in Greg's. I will be the first customer for it. Everything from additions, renovations, kitchens, baths, closet organization, cabinetry, vanities, basements, everything you need. Mention the Green Legion and get 10% off of your order regardless of how much. Reach out to them at www.mcsinc-pa.com or call them at 484-202-3656. That is www.mcsinc-pa.com or call them at 484-202-3656.
At the top of the hour, we'll be back talking the end of the Claude Giroux era, the Sixers in the Eastern Conference all tangled up, coming down the stretch, and finally the Phillies are spending stupid money, all that, right after this. All right. Guys, we're going to take like a 5-minute break.
Gonna play some music?
Yeah, I'm going to play some. Should I play The Rock or Night Driving?
Night driving.
No. That's
we didn't even go to the game, and that was a great time.
It was crazy because when we were there, it was like Halloween, or like Halloween was like.
Hold on, don't start.
You tell me when you're ready.
She clicked the pen.
Oh, I'm ready.
You ready?
You can start anytime now.
We're back on Green Legion Radio on Fox Sports The Gambler. We are in our second hour. I've been waiting for this for more than a decade. No, that's not true. About 5 years. I wish we had some mournful music here, Sam. Play some more mournful music.
Play some taps.
The big news last week, Claude Giroux, one of the top 5 players in franchise history, traded to the Florida Panthers. The Giroux era is finally over. Before we get into it, I got a lot of questions for Sack because some other people where hockey might be their fourth sport in town, I can't accept or I don't understand. I understand losing a beloved fan favorite, a great player, a Hall of Fame type player. But I'm excited to move on from the Claude Giroux era. But before we get there, Sack, just give us your thoughts on Claude Giroux, the player, what he meant to you, what he meant to the town.
Oh, we were just talking about it out in the patio during break. And listen, like you said, a lot of people in town, it's either a lot of people want to say that hockey is a niche sport, right? So for a lot of Flyers fans, it's just Flyers. They don't really follow in the other 3 teams. In particular, probably the Sixers. Just like Sixers are your preferred winter sport as compared to the Flyers, and hockey are my preferred winter sport. I've grown up on Flyers hockey. I remember in the mid-'90s, I remember playing baseball and like during the springtime, and I'm playing baseball, and you always had the dad that was in the car listening to Tim Saunders during a playoff game. And, the other dads are like lined up along, the fence line watching us play. And then you hear 2-1 Flyers. And everybody like, who scored? Like everybody on the bench, who scored? You're like, oh, John LeClaire. Like, like so many great memories growing up as a Flyers fan. And yeah, it's been difficult lately, especially the last couple of years, with the COVID situation last year and being a part of 3,500 fans. And then this year, all the injuries and the inconsistencies, and that's what's led us to back-to-back years of not making the playoffs. But I'll tell you what, Claude Giroux, I see a lot of myself in Claude because we're so close in age. When they had that Stanley Cup final run, back in 2010, I was 24 years old, and I hadn't even met my wife yet. So obviously I wasn't married. I didn't have kids. I was young, dumb, and immature, just like he was at 22. And, as life tends to go by over the last 12 years, especially, I've been married, and I've had 2 young boys, and he's been married and had 2 young boys. He's just, to me, watching him play, and I know you're going to sit there and you want to lay out the playoff statistics and all that stuff. I know you got all your news and notes and everything. But a lot of I think we forget sometimes how we got to the playoffs. And the journey that it took to get to the playoffs in the first place, and the memories that were made, the big goals, the shootout goals, the overtime goals. He leads the Flyers in overtime goals in the franchise history. Finishing top 4 in MVP voting three times. Being second in the one year he didn't even finish in the top 3 yet. He was second in points in the NHL. He's a great Flyer. For 15 years, this guy has given everything to this franchise. And to see what happened with him last weekend and being traded away, it's not a failure of Claude Giroux over the last decade. It's a failure of the franchise not building off of the player that Claude Giroux was and still is at 34 years old. So it's upsetting for a lot of us. But I will say this, Diaz, and I know a lot of the fan base, a lot of the Flyers fan base wants Claude Giroux to return after this season, whether he wins a cup with the Panthers or not. I'm not there. To me, thank you for all the memories.
Close the book.
But close the book. I mean, like you can't turn back now. What are you going to do after the season? You're going to give him a 3-year deal, $5 million cap hit? Yeah, it's awesome, nostalgia, perfect, love it. You know, it would be great to have him back. But he wants to win Stanley Cups at this time of his career, and the Flyers aren't close. They're probably 2 or 3 years away from even sniffing it. Hopefully, Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, Alexander Ovechkin retirements are falling off the face of the earth away.
If I know something about the NHL and the Flyers, one of those guys, I swear to God, one of those guys will end up as a Flyer like at age 38 or something like that.
like Yager? Like Yager when he was 40?
Like, oh my God, Yager's
yeah.
And who was wasn't there a defenseman from Boston that we got to, or somebody who was like an all-time guy or something?
Well, I mean, we had Chris Pronger at that at one point. You know, we always tend to bring them in later, right? I mean, it got Adam Oates the one time, Tony Amani. You know, we used to bring in all the old heads like towards the end of their careers. But I'm not there. To me, this right here is a new chapter, turn over a new leaf. It's not like, oh, thank God the Claude Giroux era is over. No, it's thank you for the memories. We appreciate what you gave us. We look forward to the day that you're put into the Flyers Hall of Fame, that you make the Pro Hockey Hall of Fame, and we put the number 28 up in the rafters. It's going to be beautiful moments, beautiful ceremonies to relive it all. And whenever he comes back next season with his new team, he's going to get red carpet treatment. He's going to get standing ovations all night long. But it's time to move on. It's time to turn over a new leaf. It's time to give the C over to Sean Couturier or Scott Lawton and build on to the future.
Do you have to have a C?
Not right now. You don't.
Right.
No, they're not. Out of respect for Claude and what he's done here, you're not going to give the C right away. You're gonna take it. First of all, Mike Yeo should not have the ability to give the C to anybody right now.
Right.
Because he's interim role.
Yeah.
So they're going to ride out the rest of the season. They're going to have 3 A's on the ice at all times. And then once you get into the offseason, you hire a new head coach, and then he makes you earn it in training camp, whether it's going to be Couturier or Scott Lawton, who seem to be the two of the favorites currently right now on the roster, or you bring in a guy. For me, one of my favorite captains ever was 07-08, Jason Smith. I loved Jason Smith. He came over from the Edmonton Oilers, gritty, tough defenseman.
Oh, yeah, hustle, grit.
He played that whole postseason with 2 separated shoulders, and Darian Hatcher played the whole postseason. They were draining his knee every single day just so he could play, and we lost in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Penguins that year. Just a tough, nasty dude if you bring somebody in from the outside.
You mentioned something in there that doesn't really get said, and it's kind of, there's a line, and I don't exactly know how to thread, and I don't have all the words for it, but all of the gushing for Claude Giroux, he's a great player. All right, he's great. I would never say that he's bad, but the way that he's been talked about, it just doesn't line up the way that we talk about or analyze sports, and the way that we judge our stars and our heroes. Being a fan favorite and being great and being an all-star and being a Hall of Fame, that's a thing. I just don't think that you can realistically. And sometimes maybe you do need someone like me who doesn't pay a whole lot of attention to the micro, the game by game. You enjoy that, and I wouldn't take that away from you. Hey, scoring an overtime goal against Pittsburgh, I'm making this up.
Just a random February
in March
in
2010. That sounds great. You went through a game and saw him have a hat trick in 2016. That sounds great. That's a great time. You know what I mean? That I went to see Embiid's 40-point triple-double, whenever that was. Last month, I'm going to always say, I saw him have a 40-point triple-double.
Or that slam dunk that he had on Cleveland. On Cleveland. Yeah. Another jabroni, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but those are great memories that you remember. It's not.
That's right.
It's kind of like with Embiid, right? I mean, Embiid has performed admirably during regular seasons, and he's come up short in a couple of these postseason series, but. We look back now and we put that onus and that blame more so on Brett Brown, Doc Rivers, Ben Simmons, and the fact that Tobias Harris has been his second fiddle, his third fiddle along the way. You want to say that the reason why he struggled in those second round series, right, is because he hasn't had the adequate help to get him over the hump, because last year they should have beat Atlanta. They should have beat Atlanta in at least 6 games. They blew, 3 20-point leads at home in that series. And they wound up blowing that. But, here's the thing. We're not sitting there and just talking down on Joel Embiid because we knew it was the Joel Embiid Seth Curry show, especially in the fourth quarter.
Listen, and that's all fair. Now
I'm not trying to turn the page.
This is kind of how there's. If he's a top 5 flyer of all time, top 5, they won Stanley Cups. They've made multiple conference finals. They made multiple Stanley Cup finals. Top 5. Yeah, he is a great complimentary player. And you said this guy earlier. You know what? And listen, Flyers faithful, don't come at me. I'm just off the top of my head. He's more of a LeClaire player than he is a Lindros player.
False.
Okay, so this is why. This is why I'm saying this. I'm going to go through some of these stats here. Top 5 of all time. He's a great complimentary player.
He's not a complimentary player.
You say that, listen, Giroux, the career.
Voracek was complimentary. Simmons was complimentary.
Okay, but
Couturier was
This is the thing,
complimentary.
though. This is the thing. He was not in the right position as being this god on the ice because the team didn't perform. You have 6 head coaches. You have 3 GMs. I didn't hear about all of the players until 2 years ago when in 2016.
Hockey goes through a lot of head coaches.
I understand that, but they never. If the Joel Embiid era ends this year and he never makes the playoffs again, never makes the playoffs.
Okay.
The last 5 years of Joel Embiid's career that we've had has been more successful than Claude Giroux's last 10. I know it's different in basketball because there's only 5 guys on the court versus 3 lines of 5 players.
And you're more ball dominant.
I understand.
You're more ball dominant.
I understand
right?
that, but how is it that when he's the complimentary player, his first 4 years, I'm going to go through some stats right here because I just think it illustrates just kind of a.
Why don't you not illustrate the stats? Why don't you illustrate the rosters? Why don't you illustrate the talent level?
Well, let me ask you this.
Please, let me know who was on those teams and who's been on those teams since.
Okay, I've 4 good points or questions I want you to think about.
Go for it.
First off, the stats. His first 4 seasons, 50 playoff games, 21 goals, 55 points, 1.1 points per playoff game. That's Hall of Fame stuff.
When the Flyers were rolling 3 offensive lines easily every night.
That's right, but he was on one of those lines. And he was rolling 1.1 points a game. He wasn't playing with 2 other lines. He was playing with one of those lines, the second line. Then when he was
they had depth.
Then when he was the captain, 31 playoff games in 10 seasons.
You put too much weight on the C.
Because
no, you do.
Hold up for a second. No, because it's his team. He is the leader.
Okay, so
he's the captain.
Okay, all right.
He is the leader. No, I'm not done.
No.
Why are they always looking for leadership?
Real quick.
Why are they always looking for leadership?
Real quick about the C. Okay, the guy over the last 12 years has been most highly touted as the best captain in the NHL. Jonathan Toews. Man. Unbelievable captain. This guy can't stand losing. Can't stand it. Man, what a competitor. Yeah, 3 cups in 6 years. What have they been since?
They won 3 cups in 6 years.
3 cups in 6 years because the talent level was worth 3 cups in 6 years.
I understand.
They had Corey Crawford at goaltender. They had Duncan Keith winning Norris trophies. They had Brent Seabrook.
But this is the point.
Marion Hossa. Patrick Kane.
Right, I understand that. They had good players.
Once they paid Kane and Taves, and they couldn't afford to pay anybody else, and they stopped drafting correctly, and Joe Quenneville went to Florida, that's when, so I'm guessing now, Jonathan Toews is no longer a great captain.
No,
because they lose.
That's not what I'm saying.
Because they lose.
What I'm saying is when they turned the team to his leadership, he's the point guy. Listen, all this leadership, and I am so sick. I'm so sick of
with
reading.
Andrew McDonald.
Hold up for a second. First off, I spent the last decade of having to listen to Flyers fans. Oh, all you got to do is make the playoffs. We got a chance. So what? Why did I hear that for a decade? If they had such crap rosters,
you know me for 4 years.
Okay, so the last 4 years.
So you're taking it out on your axis.
Oh yeah, I'm just talking about anyone Flyers. The last 10 years, the last 4 years, 2 years they make the playoffs.
I thought I was supposed to get red here.
Oh, we got a chance. So what you're saying
I thought I was supposed to. You're matching my shirt.
What would have been more appropriate is if I heard, man, it really stinks what they're doing to Claude Giroux. Such a great player, trying to will his team to victory, and they won't surround it. That didn't even happen until last year. His prime, he was signed in 2013 to that $8 million 8-year deal. In 2013, he was given the captain. He's our new, Carter Richards are gone. Breer's gone. Hartnell's gone. They're all gone. Pronger's gone. We are moving into this new era, sort of like where they are now, okay? And I just feel it was premature to give him the keys to the franchise, so to speak, because he just didn't live up to that billing. He doesn't suck. He's great. He'll make the Hall of Fame. He scores a lot of points. I got some analogies. Believe it or not, I got some analogies.
He did live up to that contract. Every bit of that bill.
I'm not saying the contract. I'm saying to his level within the franchise and the way that fans are recalling these times that weren't that good. They weren't good. It's the worst stretch in Flyers history.
And he was the best part of it, the greatest part of it, the
That's
only
great.
consistent part of it.
All right,
the only consistent great part of it. We loved Jake, we love Simmer, we love Coots, but like at the end of the day,
why do we hear about this?
They're not the team that they were at the end of the 2010s or at the end of the 2000s, getting into 2010, 2011, 2012. The roster has gotten worse. Now, I will say this, 2019, 2020. And this is the sad part about this, okay? We got 5 minutes left?
No, we got 6 minutes.
Okay, I was about to say, we talked about Giroux that much? But here's the thing, okay? The sad part for me is that the last playoff home game that we had with fans in the stands with Claude Giroux as the captain was 2018. We were robbed of that in 2020. The Flyers...
Was 2018 the year that he blamed the fans for booing? Was that 2016? What was the year that they threw the bracelets?
It was 2016 because Ed Snyder died. Yeah. I was at Game 4. They were down 3-0 in that series, but...
I mean, I know some, and so when you step back and listen, I'm not saying he's
terrible. Why don't we play this in context real fast?
Okay? I'll give you some context.
So 2014, they lost in that first round series, right, against the team that wound up going to the Eastern Conference Finals for the New York Rangers.
Right.
Okay, they had an all-time great goaltender.
Yeah.
In Henrik Lundqvist.
Yes.
Okay, stole the game for them in Madison Square Garden as they had home ice.
Gotcha.
We had Ray Emery. He had 6 points in that series, right? Okay. So 2016, they lost in the first round to the 120-point President's Trophy winning Washington Capitals. Okay. Braden Holtby that season, 3 shutouts, 2.2 goals against average, a .922 save percentage. They had Ovechkin, John Carlson.
Listen, you're not getting
Backstrom.
2018. Listen, I understand what you're saying. This is the deal, though. They didn't make the playoffs in between those years. This is hockey, where the Flyers are one of the big spending premier, and they do have a cap, and I understand
they don't spend it accurately
I understand.
anymore. We just fuck.
I understand.
Damn it! No,
mark that down.
Yeah, mark that down real quick.
Hold up.
Just let me know when I can finish that.
No.
All right. They just spent 5 years, $25 million on Rasmus Ristolainen to give up 3 goals the other night in the game. So, like, they don't spend it in the right places.
Listen, you were focusing here on Claude Giroux. When I hear I'm going to give you some analogies. I hear some people when we're talking about, let's talk about.
Why don't you compare his career to Allen Iverson?
I'll compare. You know
Please.
what? You know what I like to compare it to?
Please.
But Allen Iverson did win an MVP, and he did lead a team to the finals. He did do those things.
Claude Giroux played in a Stanley Cup final.
But it wasn't his team. It wasn't his
Why?
team.
Because he wasn't wearing the C?
No, it was
Look at his point production.
Hold up.
He outscored.
I got a great.
He outscored every single captain on between Richards, Carter, Gagne. He had more points than any of them in that playoff run.
I'm going to give you an analogy, and I think it's really good. I think this is a great analogy. All right, those teams were run by Carter, Richards, Hartnell, Pronger. They had way better teams than the Flyers had.
Danny Briere, Scott Hartnell.
Here's an example. What if, and again, knock on wood, don't jinx me. Let's say maybe it's next year. I don't know. This year or next year, the Sixers made the finals. The Sixers will not make the finals without Tyrese Maxey having great playoffs. They won't do it. They won't do it without Tyrese Maxey. They need Tyrese Maxey.
I agree with you.
Right? So then I'm making this up again. I hope it's not true in 3 years. Hold up.
Can we put the ball in his hands
Okay,
more than
hold on.
half-court
We'll
set,
get
please?
to NBA later.
Please.
But here's an example. What I'm trying to compare is Maxey is a great player on this team. Then all Embiid, Harden, gone. They turn it over to Maxey. And for the next decade, they make the playoffs every once in a while. He's an all-star. And then he retires, and people are like, top 5 player of all time. Because he hit the most 3-pointers. And he leads the team in free throw percentage and all this. So it's kind of like, it's not Maxey. Maxey's a big part of this team, and I won't discount it. I won't discount Giroux. But it wasn't Giroux's team. In my perspective.
Top five Flyers of all time. What's your top 5?
I don't know all the 80s guys. I'll go. Okay.
Bobby Clark.
Bobby Clark, Bill Barber, Bernie Perrant, Lindros. I'll put LeClaire was in the finals. I mean, I don't know the 80s guys. Since he was the leader and the spokesperson and the figurehead and the big guy and he's on all the tickets, everyone's got his jersey, they have been crap. They've been crap. And you know that, and I'm not trying to put your team down. I want them to be good too. But it's like everyone's like, "Oh, Claude Giroux is so great, so great." And I'm like, "Well, then why don't they?"
He is. If you watch, you see it with your own eyes.
Why don't they just qualify for the playoffs? Just qualify for the playoffs. They don't have to be great. He's good enough. And when you get there, he went a decade, 4 playoff goals. The stars, the top 5 guys, they show up in those big moments. Not in stadium series. They show up. They're the leader. They're the best player on the team.
When you are the only in hockey, okay?
You score a goal.
No. In hockey, okay, you have to have an understanding here. All right. In hockey, and especially when you're the lower seed, all right, and you're not home ice advantage. How much time do we have? Wrap it up. Okay. When you don't have home ice advantage, they have the last change. The other team's opposition. They can put out their top checking line because you only have one line. Their top defensive pairing. You only have one line. Every year during that run from 2014 through 2018, the Flyers had one line. It was G, Jake, and Simmer. That was it. They didn't have any other offense production. And when you don't get it from your top line because they can only put out their top checking line all the time on your top line, listen, you don't have any secondary scoring. And then you're trotting out bums in goaltender. Steve Mason, Neuvert. No offense to the late, great, Ray Emery. I always loved Ray Emery. He could fight. But let's wrap this up, all right? So,
I guess I'm going to have to agree with me. This is the final decision. Claude Giroux was a great player who was ill-fitted to be considered the leader and the best player on the true contender.
You know what? Bucks County Baseball Company is the premier vintage sports clothing and collectibles retail store in the tri-state area. Visit www.buckscountybaseballco.com or stop by their Bristol, PA location. Items from the Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers, and much, much more. Again, visit www.buckscountybaseballco.com or stop by their Bristol, PA location. The showroom is huge. The website, even bigger. Bucks County Baseball Company, the name in Philly for vintage sports, top 5 all time.
The good news is you're fired. The good news is we've got a new era of Flyers hockey. It's going to be a kind of a dark couple of years, but things are looking brighter. On the other side, we're going to talk a little Sixers, NBA Eastern Conference, and heat culture. Are there some cracks?
Yes,
there
is.
Heat culture?
I love it.
We'll cover all that. Green Legion Radio on Fox Sports The Gambler. Back right after this. You're you get
longer than that.
No, what you do is you go and this guy, this one time in this one series. I'm like, just look at the big picture. Just look at the big picture.
Look at the big picture.
I have all these great points that you didn't let me get to.
Context. And I'm happy you did all of that.
No, because I just don't understand it.
For nothing.
I just don't understand it. Why didn't we hear about this? Why are we getting fired up for playoffs? They have sucky players.
I understand why you're so worked up. Because I see it all the time on Twitter because then they'll tag me in it. And I love it. I enjoy it. But these 3 are on his ass all the time. And
they have very little to talk about these days.
But I can understand why you get so worked up about the Flyers and and your defense.
Well, they also told me this. It started off where all this started was the process started, and I'm like, we're Philadelphia. We've got this huge basketball history just from high schools and everything, and Wilt Chamberlain and Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley, Dr. J. How do we have just a sucky team, which Ed Snyder was running? And I'm like, Ed Snyder's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing with the basketball team. He's great for the hockey team. And no one cares about hockey. No one cares about basketball. No. I'm like, they should. Well, NBA makes more money. We should have a great team. So when the process started, I was like, I don't know. It could work. We won't know for 4 or 5 years. And they're like, oh my God, so it's as it got a little bit better, they're telling me the Flyers are the way to build. The Flyers always try. And the Flyers, since 2013, when the process started, the Sixers have been
The part that sucks is the Flyers were East favorites before COVID hit. They were slated to play the Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Finals. That was the matchup that was being predicted the
Well, they went on that run right
forecaster-
before COVID started.
Yeah, but predictions are.
Yeah.
No.
I know what you're
They have
saying.
an analytic thing. It shows your chances to make the playoffs, chances to get to the second round, chances to get to the conference finals, chances to get to the Stanley Cup finals, chances to win the cup. The Flyers were the favorites in the East, and then COVID hit.
Well, let's so with the NBA, this is a 15-minute thing. We can just go through this. We'll do NBA and MLB and just like cut it out.
That's fine. I don't have any more live reads, so you're good.
Okay.
I got everybody.
You tell me when you're ready, Sam.
Okay, hold on one sec.
Let me put my headset on.
You can start within the next 5 seconds.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. We're back on Green Legion Radio on Fox Sports The Gambler. This is Diaz. I'm sitting with Sack. We're catching our breath over a heated discussion over the Claude Giroux era in Philadelphia Flyers history. Again, the fans agree with me.
No.
Sam.
No, the fans do not agree with you, and that was very intense. We were discussing the craziness of you two fighting like two little kids.
Listen,
Fighting over
there's
a ball.
There's 3 schmucks out there that want to sit there and try and downgrade Claude Giroux, and it's Diaz, Quimby, and Rob Valivas.
To get under your skin, and obviously it worked.
Actually, I do take pride in being whoever released that Twitter thing 2 years ago about Flyers haters or whatever. And my name and Green Legion, my 2 Twitter handles that I managed were top 3. I think it was Mike Missinelli was 1, Michael Diaz was 2, and Green Legion was 3. I take now the other sports personalities in town. And Natalie Eganoff was on there, and like all these, and they were like, "This is ridiculous. I do not." And I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, only 2 and 3."
Our good friend Kevin Kincaid on Crossing Broad, after the trade was made to the Florida Panthers with Claude Giroux, he put out there, Barkov is the best teammate Claude Giroux has had since. And I'm telling you, 9 out of 10, Yager.
Yeah.
And he had Yager for 1 year. He had him for 1 season, and that was a great line that he had with Yager and
I'm gonna let you in a secret, so everyone that turned off our ranting and raving from the Flyers, I'm extremely jealous. I'm extremely jealous of the way the orange and black diehard view their team and their players. Because
it's the same way you idolize Embiid.
Well, but Embiid, hold up for a second.
Way.
Embiid is so crazy good. We've never seen him. He's not perfect. He has flaws that I recognize. I recognize them, and he's getting better every year. And I hope everyone is sitting on pins and needles because Embiid has 2 or 3 years left max. Maybe he doesn't.
When he took that fall last week, that was scary.
Yeah, maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know that. But what he is doing is so historic for our franchise, for the league, and there's other good players too. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, look at Giannis or look at Durant or look at Jokic. All great players.
They're all unicorns.
Embiid is in that top 5.
Yeah.
Now, next year, maybe he's the 8th best. This year, he's 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. Take your pick. I don't know. Giannis might win the MVP. Jokic might win the MVP.
I think Giannis has fallen off. I think this is, if Embiid plays majority of the games the remainder of the season, he continues putting up 30 points a night, 12 boards. He's got the MVP in the bag.
But this is the thing, and I appreciate that. And that's I'm going to call you a homer. You're not a homer on the Sixers, but you look at Embiid and Giannis' stats; they're equal. I mean, Giannis is putting up 30 points, 12 boards, 6 assists. The same thing as Embiid. What I want to talk to you about is I think how this MVP thing could come down to is to 2 things: the scoring. If Embiid wins the scoring championship, the scoring title. First center, first big man to win since Shaq in 2000, 22 years. So that's the first thing. I mean, you win the scoring title like that adds. I mean, it's all narrative. But the other thing is how these teams finished. Right now, the Bucks and the Sixers on Thursday night. We don't know the outcome of Thursday and Friday night. They have the same record, and they could be anywhere from 1st to 5th.
If we've noticed a trend about the NBA, I would say probably over the last 10 to 15 years, right? They really don't like giving it to somebody more than 2 times.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
It's weird. Michael Jordan should have won every single year.
Right.
Yeah.
LeBron should have won it probably more. What is he, at 4?
At 4, yeah.
Kobe should have won it more than one time. But Steve Nash went back-to-back. Curry went back-to-back. Giannis went back-to-back. I think we were joking around last year when Jokic won it. And we were sitting there, we're like, wait a minute, hold on. We looked at the list of MVPs. We're like, he's the worst MVP since like 1970 or something like that. It's like, or maybe of all time. I don't think the voters are going to tend to want to go back to giving it to him. And Giannis has 2 already. And he won the NBA title last year.
I mean, Embiid's the favorite.
I know, but if it's close amongst the 3, I think they want fresh blood. I think they want to give it to somebody that hasn't won it before. And if like their records are the same, their stats are the same, Embiid, his personality, I know Giannis has a great personality too, but you want to give it to a guy like Embiid.
Right.
I think
I do. Yes,
as long
I do.
So do I. So do I. I think it would be great for the city. We would have 2 MVPs in the city at the same time. How cool would that be?
Yeah, my buddy Kev, my best man. I was the best man in his.
McCloskey?
Yeah, McCloskey. The Giroux hit him. The Giroux trade, or he was resigned to it, and he probably knew this a couple of years. In 2017, because of the process, I was like, you know what they should do? They should trade Voracek, Giroux, and Simmons. It doesn't line up with the timeline of all these young guys, Konechny and Provorov and stuff. And I started as a joke, but then it was like when they weren't winning, I'm like, who cares if he scores? If he's 5th in the league in scoring, they're not going to win with him. They don't have the support staff. I mean, the support players,
right?
And they're all young. We hope that like trade Giroux now. And I understand the no movement clause and all that. But like you could say, hey man, we're gonna bring this other guy in and we're gonna play you with a bunch of rookies. You make it difficult because you're looking for your franchise. I mean, I know this is probably would never happen, but really for the team and the player, it would have been better if Giroux had separated 3 or 4 years ago, in my opinion.
But the reason why the agent puts the no movement clause in to begin with is because he wants to be here.
No, I get it.
And you got to give people credit that want to try and see it through. I mean,
I get it, but it was like the writing's on the wall.
Like Quimby with Mike Trout. I don't hold any ill will over Mike Trout for staying in with the Angels. Yeah, it sucks. He's with a team in Los Angeles that is it's not even a focus. It's not like he plays for the Dodgers, but I can't fault the guy for staying there. They drafted him. They took a chance on him. They developed him. He's had a ton of success there, and he enjoys being there. He wants to see it through. He wants to reward the franchise for taking a shot on him. That's going to be Embiid. Embiid's never going to want to demand a trade or want to get out of here. I think it might get to a point where Embiid. It's
possible.
But I'm saying that it could get to a point where it, like with Giroux, where he didn't demand a trade. It was just hey, listen. Sign an extension or see this through this terrible year that we're having, or have a chance to go win the Stanley Cup. That could be the case with Embiid, but Embiid, the Sixers drafted him 3rd overall when he had all those injuries. They never knew he was going to play, but they took the chance on him, and he's going to want to see that through to the best of his abilities to make sure he brings a championship and rewards this franchise. That's why G stayed around as long as he did, because he was drafted here. He was developed here. He had great times here. He loves the city. He loves the fan base, and he wanted to reward us by winning a Stanley Cup.
Listen,
that was the same thing. That's what Embiid wants to do.
Yeah, well, yeah, I hear you.
You can't say that Embiid has that personality and Giroux doesn't.
No, I'm just saying, but Giroux's I mean, if that's really how it is, it's okay. I don't want to go back to Giroux, but
Embiid,
this is the difference. I think Embiid wants to win more than anything. He wants to win here. He wants to win, and they do have that opportunity to win now in the next year, 2, 3, 4 years.
I think it's got to be a couple years because Harden looks like he's losing it a little bit now.
I'm with you. I'm just saying, if you are this great player and you haven't won a championship, but you're still valuable, you still have some value. Maybe you're not a runner-up for MVP, but you're a top 20 guy like Giroux is. Sticking around the Flyers the last 5 years, you're really not going to win.
But you're taking away from the fact that they were East favorites 2 years ago.
That was one time.
But everyone says that he should have went and tried to chase a championship 5 years ago. But 2 years ago, they were on the path for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, but they
Before the
but
world
they beat
shut
the
down.
12 the 12 seed and lost in the second round to the
But
7
you were looking after the league shut down for 4 months, and they played in a bubble with no fans in the stands.
Okay,
things,
but it
things,
did-
things
I
could have been
understand that.
different if
I-
they were
I
playing at the
understand
Wells
that.
Fargo Center
I
in a
get it.
7-game
It
series
could-
with home ice.
It could have been, but then the very next year they're out of the playoffs, and now they're the worst team in the league.
Well, the very next year things fell
So you're
apart.
right. So
Carter Hart fell apart. Yeah,
There's-
it was
there's
bad.
There's managed risk for everything. I think what it. Let's get back to the Sixers.
Go
because
for it.
We're talking.
I know.
Talking
I
Flyers.
know. Hey,
Talking Flyers.
This is great. I love it.
But Sixers, we've
talk
got
more Flyers.
We have 10 games actually. By the time this is out, we have 9 games left. Man, this is. We talked about this, I think, 2 years ago, where we always fight about the NBA and the NHL, and you're like, the NBA only 3 teams have a chance, and the NHL kind of everyone has a chance. I don't know about the NHL this year, but this year the NBA is wide open. LeBron probably won't make the playoffs.
I hope not.
He's gonna be in
I've
the
been watching.
play-in.
I've been tracking the Spurs. I want the Spurs to over because the Pelicans have overthrown them, right?
Yeah.
And now the Spurs, I think, are 3 games behind.
Kevin Durant is the best player in the league. He's the best player in the league.
He might
They're
lose in a
play-in.
play-in.
They're in the play-in.
Yeah.
Now Kyrie's coming back because of baseball. I'm going to blame baseball for that.
Why don't you blame him in the last segment?
No.
Ideally,
it's
what
the
do
New
you-
York City because they want the Mets or
I
they want the
know.
Yankees and the Mets to come back. Yeah, we see you, Sam. Stop waving.
Well,
us.
I
Sam.
saw his
Hi.
phone too. So ideally, what is do you want the Sixers to win out and go for the 1 seed and run the risk of the fact that because Kyrie, the one place if he can play in New York, the one place he can't play is in Toronto. So
Yes.
if they have to play a play-in style game, for me, ideally, I kind of want Doc to rest up the starters a little bit, get Embiid and Harden proper rest and get them ready for the postseason. Drop down in that 3-6 matchup with the Cavaliers, or get yourself in that 4-5 matchup with the Bulls. I could take that because if you get that 4-5 matchup and then say the Nets wind up beating the Raptors in that 7-8 matchup and they take the 7 seed and then the Raptors are the 8 seed, you get the winner of the Heat.
And the Raptors.
And the Raptors in the second round.
We don't know. I mean, Heat culture is kind of falling apart. I don't know if
That's
Louise is still with us.
That's why I'm saying, because then you get that matchup, and if you get that matchup and Heat culture falls apart in the first round, and the 8 seed knocks them off, then you get home court advantage against the Raptors.
This is a
Rematch from 3 years ago.
I appreciate you coming into this show here, and we'll have another show before the playoffs. But every single year, it's like, what do the Sixers have to do for this year not to be a failure?
I wonder who used to do that.
Yeah, and it's like. I don't know. I mean,
What's the expectation,
yeah,
Diaz?
yeah, and it's like I don't. Let's see who they play. I mean, I thought the year with the Toronto loss, the quadruple doink with the Kawhi shot, that was a successful year. They lost in 7th game at the final buzzer in the second round. All right. It's also funny how when we're talking about the Claude Giroux's legacy, they always talk about how they bowed out in the conference quarterfinals. But when we're talking about the Sixers, they never make it out of the second round. Can we say the conference quarterfinals? That sounds a lot fancier than the second round. But anyway,
I mean, they haven't been to a conference final since 2001. It's been 21 years. It's long overdue.
The matchups are just crazy. This Eastern Conference, they're gonna have to beat 2 teams to make the finals. Whatever team comes out of the East, I will give them full respect because you're gonna have to beat 2 of Miami, Boston, Milwaukee, Philly.
Even the West is stacked
Nets.
too. The West is stacked.
But they're a little more top heavy. I mean, they're good.
I mean, well, listen, the Suns are top heavy. The Warriors have come back down to earth.
Except they beat Miami without
without
3
Clay,
guys.
Draymond, and Steph. So why wasn't Clay or Draymond playing that night?
I don't know whether I don't know. Maybe it was back to back. I mean,
I like Jordan Poole. I'll tell you that.
You asked me a question like, "Oh, do I want to see them win?" Of course, I want them to win every game. But most importantly, especially which game was it here where it was against the Lakers and Embiid went up and what's his name tried to foul him and kind of like pulled him down and I felt it in my back and you saw him grimace.
Nah, it wasn't against the Lakers. It was somebody else last week. I forget who it was, but I know what you're talking about because I was watching the game.
Yeah.
He came down like on his tailbone and he was writhing in pain.
Right, that was 2 weeks ago. I'm talking about the Lakers on Wednesday night.
I missed that. I went to bed.
And he went up. He was a layup, and some little guy kind of grabbed his shoulders and pulled him down as he's going up. And he just
Was it Stanley Johnson?
Stanley Johnson.
It was Stanley Johnson.
He
I'll
had
say
a great first
he had
half.
13 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, he had
See,
a
I've
great-
been watching Diaz. I've been watching. You
And
know?
he fell asleep at halftime, but it's
I definitely went to bed at halftime.
Big concern. Listen, this is not defensive Brett Brown. I don't think Brett Brown was a great coach. It was time for a change. I don't think Brett Brown was a terrible coach. Doc Rivers, all year long, and this is kind of like the mirage of the first seed. Oh, they're the first seed. They're the first seed last year. Spends all year doing the things that they do well. I see you, Sam. Hi, Sam. I see you. Doing all the things that they do well, not experimenting.
Do I do that on Baseball Brunch?
No.
No.
What happens when you don't experiment? You don't find out what works, and you don't find out what doesn't work. So what happens with Doc Rivers in the playoffs, very easy to scout because we don't change up anything. Within the last week or so, now a Paul Millsap, B-Ball Paul lineup. Like, why isn't B-Ball Paul getting 10 minutes a game just to see? If they lose the game, they lose the game. Now we're experimenting with zone defense that actually looks kind of pretty good. But that's what the regular season is for, especially in the NBA when we talk about who's better, Jokic or Embiid or Giannis or LeBron or Kobe and all this stuff. It all comes down to the playoffs, and you have to be ready to – things are going to go bad in the playoffs, maybe even in the first round for the Sixers. There's a lot of good teams in the Eastern Conference. I don't believe Doc Rivers has it in him to switch it up on the fly and change things up when they counter, because that's just how it's going to be.
Do you know the Bulls are 1-16 against the teams? And
the Bulls are my most favorite first round matchup.
Yeah, then the
Cleveland,
Cavs. Yeah, me
just
too.
because they haven't been here before. Well, Sam is waving at us. She doesn't like the Sixers. She hates Philadelphia.
No, that's not true. I'd rather watch the Sixers than the Flyers. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, I mean, you are human.
But you love Claude Giroux.
Sure.
Sure. She loves the Gingers. Just like Rex. We will be back on Green Legion Radio on Fox Sports The Gambler. We're going to wrap up with some baseball, some Phillies spending stupid money right after this. All right. See, I'm right at 15 minutes. I'm going to take a sec.
Yeah, we started at 29:10, and now we're at 44:46, so it's more.
Yeah, I mean, go figure. The only part that Slash is really gonna have to do any well.
I'm gonna.
My F-bomb.
Yeah, no, right.
Second time I've ever cursed.
I know. That he's only gonna have to worry about that second segment. He's gonna have to cut that up.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be able to fix that.
Because Quimby jumping in.
Yeah. He's gonna have to listen to that whole.
Like the middle part of the second segment. He's gonna have to listen to that. Try and chop it up.
It's about 5 minutes in, and he's gonna have to listen to it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see.
But that's fine because I don't get paid enough to do it. To try to figure.
You don't know how to do it.
No, I could go through and write down the exact seconds that it happened.
Right,
Sure.
but he's got to slice it
Yes.
up and add the
But
commercial.
Right.
slicing it up,
I've done it before.
it just takes time.
You'd be surprised. I have done stuff like that before.
What other stuff have you done, Sam?
Don't worry about it.
Adult films.
On the iPhone?
Editing adult films.
Right. You tell me when you want me to, when you're ready.
Let me just write some of this. All right, and you guys have 10 minutes, right?
10 minutes. Yeah.
All right, you can start whenever you're ready.
Back on Green Legion Radio on Fox Sports The Gambler. It is our last segment of this fine Saturday, and we're going to talk some Phillies. Zach, I got a funny Philly story for you.
Go for it.
You're going to appreciate this.
Lay it on me.
Because right now you are triple lettering with Phillies. You got hat, T-shirt, and jacket going on. Over the weekend, last week, this week, the Phillies are finally spending through the the competitive balance tax threshold. John Milton opened up the checkbooks. Kyle Schwarber, Nick Castellanos. The Spanish guy said Castellanos.
Well,
I wasn't sure if it was Italian or
no, because Quimby did the same thing yesterday when he called me. He's like, Nick Castellanos. So I'm like, no, Castellanos. He's like, Castellanos, lo siento, mi amigo. And
why don't they put the little tilde on top of the N there then? Why is it an Enye? Why is it just an N?
I don't know. If you wanted to ask those questions, you should have been at his press conference because, man, he was
great.
He was a joy.
I already saw from fantees.com. They already have a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I hit baseballs.
Yeah, I hit baseballs. Yeah.
But anyway, we were out somewhere, and I wasn't paying attention. I had a Phillies T-shirt on. I had my Phillies Mitchell and Ness throwback zip up, and I had a Phillies hat on. And my wife, Abby, who, like, we met in 2016, kind of after our glory years, focused. I'm always Eagles first. If it's between the Sixers and Phillies, Sixers and Phillies, whoever's like, winning. The Sixers are terrible. I'm going to follow the Phillies more. She goes, "Hey, you have a lot of Phillies on." I was like, "Oh, I do. I'm back in. I am back in, baby. I'm excited for baseball."
Welcome.
And listen, this year, I promise, I am not going to be frustrated by the middle relief. All right, I'm not going to be frustrated by it. We understand it.
No, you will be.
I'm not going to be frustrated by Zach Wheeler not starting opening
You'll
day.
see him in week 2 or 3.
Hopefully. But finally, I was so sick of they talk about big money teams and the Phillies being big money, but they were like right underneath that tax. I'm going to just say this, a little disappointing that they somehow have $240 million to spend this year when last year it was 206 off a 210 base. They probably could have done it, but what's more importantly, their competitive advantage is their pocketbook. Right now they can't develop anyone, and they can't draft and develop anyone. Hopefully that happens, but if that starts this year, we won't know for another 3, 4, 5 years. So right now they got the checkbook. I hope, and I'm going to represent with my wallet. I'm going to go to more games. I went to 1 game last year. Back in the day, I went to 25 games a year.
Yeah, 50, 60 for me.
Yeah, for sure. I would go, those are the glory days. But I'm going to try and make it to
mid-20s and you have no responsibilities. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. I'm going to try and make it to at least 1 game a month. And this is just starting. I'm going from 1 to 7.
But that's more than me.
It's dedication.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
Well, no, you get the best show every week.
Oh, I get to go to the stadium every week.
Speaking of the best show every week, listen, if you guys want, again, just take an opportunity here to put out there.
Here we go.
Go to Quimby.
Big head.
Email quimby@greenlegion.com for you to sponsor and advertise on Bud Light Baseball Brunch with Chris Sack and Phillies broadcaster Greg Murphy. Listen, I don't like to toot our own horn. I've listened to the competition across all boards with Phillies sports talk in this town, and there is no competition. When you have myself and Murph for 1 hour every Sunday from 11 to 12, you want to advertise with us. So go ahead, quimby@greenlegion.com, or get a hold of Diaz on our social media platforms or myself. This season's going to be exciting. Go for it.
I would like to ask 2 questions, and then you get the floor. And I don't want you to sell Bud Light Baseball Brunch. I want you to sell this Philly season. Tell me about these 2. Tell me about these signings: Schwarber, Castellanos.
Yes.
I already love him. He's my favorite player. I'm getting a jersey now that I know that he's of Latin origin. He's my man. Talk about these guys.
Well, he doesn't have a college degree, and he hits baseballs. But I'll tell you, man, I was excited when we signed Schwarber. Guy, he's Matt Stairs, but a better, more durable version of Matt Stairs. On base machine. The guy hits bombs. If you're sitting in right field this season, look out. You might want to wear helmets instead of hats with Schwarber and Harper both hitting towards your direction at all times. It's exciting. I was excited about that move, but it really didn't move the needle for me. I'm still sitting there. I'm like, the middle relief, we're not sure. Closing, Corey Knebel. Man, when they just dove right in on Castellanos, this team is going to rake. There's no break in this lineup. And the rumors are out there right now that the Phillies are shopping Alec Bohm.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. What would they get for him? They what's his name? Johan?
I think they're
third base.
Camargo.
Yeah,
Johan Camargo. He could play some third base for sure. Because remember, they just brought back Torres. What Camargo was supposed to be, more of a utility guy. You can bring in Torres to be that, and you can have Camargo and Castellanos playing third base. Castellanos he came up in the Detroit system as a third baseman, so he has some experience. He's been taking ground balls over there the last couple of days in camp, but he moved the needle for me because now, Schwarber signing, you're sitting there going, okay, cool. He's probably going to be your leadoff hitter because they don't have any prototypical guys that can bat leadoff. Now you can have Schwarber batting leadoff, Segura second, Harper third, Castellanos batting cleanup, and then you can, however you want to do it. Hoskins 5, Real Muto 6. Now you could probably go Hoskins 5. Didi's been playing well so far in spring training. So if Didi bounces back for this season, Didi goes ahead. And Didi can play third base too. If Bryson Stott has a good spring and you trade Bohm, Didi can play third. A lot of people say that Stott can go ahead and play third base, but I don't think he's taking enough ground balls over there for you to rely on that. Defensively, they're going to be terrible. The middle relief is probably going to be about mid pack, but
that's good,
which is better. Listen, they had the second worst all time ERA in baseball history in 2020. I don't know if they broke the record or they tied the record for most blown saves in a single season for a National League team, but they achieved that last year in 2021. And I'll tell you what, they've signed a lot of veteran relievers: Court Knable, Jarius Familia, Brad Hand. I'm excited to have Sir Anthony Dominguez back. First time he's going to be pitching since 2019, since going through Tommy John surgery, throwing 97 the other day on the radar gun. That's a guy that I'm excited to have in the late innings. You have Sam Coonrod's back. Jose Alvarado's back. Connor Brogdon. And then, listen, it's a little bit of a scare with Zach Wheeler from this past offseason. He had shoulder stiffness in December. He's a little bit behind on his throwing program, but he had a bullpen session the other day, and they said he looked strong. Aaron Nola still is going to scare me in September.
Is he gone? Is this his last year?
No, he still has a few years left. He signed a real cheap extension a couple years ago.
So he just might go from the second starter to the fourth or something.
No, well, it depends. Is Ranger Suarez going to continue what he did last year?
Did you hear about Ranger Suarez? How he
his visa? Yeah. So so it looks like your two best starting pitchers from last year, Ranger and Zach Wheeler, are probably going to miss the first week of the season. I'm not even sure about Zach Eflin. I know he was rebounding from knee surgery, but Kyle Gibson's back too. So the starting five, everyone's like, "Oh, go get a starter." Where are you putting them? Unless you're going to put Ranger back in the bullpen, but it doesn't make any sense right now. So I think this team's going to make the playoffs. I'm saying this right now, Diaz. I didn't say this last year. I didn't say this last year. I'm saying it this year.
Write it down.
Mark it, Sam.
Marking it down.
6 teams make the playoffs now. So you have the 3 division winners. The top 2 in each league are going to get a first-round bye. The other 4 teams, so you're going to have the 3 and the 6 and the 4 and the 5, they're going to each meet in 3-game playoffs, which is now the new wild card round format. Now, here's the catch. So if the Phillies are the 5th or the 6th seed, they're going to play all 3, unless it goes just 2 games, a 2-0 series. It's all going to be at the higher seeds ballpark. Right. So there's going to be no
home game.
Yeah, there's going to be. So ideally, I want the Phillies to be in that 3 or 4 slot, or actually 1-2 slot. But it's going to be tough. This division is going to be tough, but the Phillies should make the playoffs. I'm going to say it right now: the Phillies will get into the playoffs and end our 11-year drought now.
Mark it down. Last question for you, real quick.
Yeah.
The shift. Are we done with it?
Well, it's supposed to be out next year. Any rule changes that they made are in effect for next season. The first month of the season, they're expanding rosters from 26 to 28 because of the late start with spring training. So that's going to be the first month of the season. And then the Ghost Runner is back. They're saying it's supposed to be just for this year. So I'm hoping that's just for this year because that's not baseball. I know people want to go to bed after the 10th, 11th inning.
There's 162 games.
I understand.
And
I get it.
In hockey, we do 3-on-3. I mean, you could put a base runner on. I understand what you're saying, but come on, baseball.
I don't believe.
We can change.
No,
we can change.
I don't
the
want to
DH
change.
came in the 70s. It changed. They lowered the pitching
I love the
mound.
fact that there's a universal DH now. It's been long overdue. I know I've been expecting it to come. I'm a National League traditionalist, and listen, you're not going to get any great moments like Joe Blanton or Brett Myers anymore, but that just comes with the territory. But it's going to be an exciting baseball season down at the ballpark, man. It's going to feel like old times. The Mets are good. The Braves are good. The Phillies are good. This ballpark should be packed all summer long.
Cannot wait.
Exciting baseball. It's good when they're all good because we hate the Braves and the Mets.
We're going to close out here. Your first place, Philadelphia Union, do not have a game today. They have a free weekend. We are expecting Villanova basketball coming up later right here on Fox Sports The Gambler. Thank you, everyone, for sitting in for our live show. Sack, Sam, this is Diaz, Claude Giroux, Joel Embiid, playoffs, opening day. It's a great time to be alive. We'll see you next time.
Okay.
Good.
Keenan, thank you for hanging in.
Thank you, Keenan.
Or just Keenan.
Well, no, there's a couple people, but Keenan stayed the whole time.
You the man, Keenan.
You the man, y'all.